Um,
Classic,
let,
man.
let's get it going. I'm gonna do your intro right now. What up, yo? TheRapScene.com. I am Frank 5D, the anomaly sworn solemnly high snobby. And today we talking to a dude who has influenced me in a number of ways, so I gotta do this. Polly Rob, hailing from Los Angeles, this dude has built a solid reputation in hip hop, particularly within the West Coast scene. Over the years, he's developed a technical, behind the boards as, a type of a mentor aspect of everything. He's a producer, he's an engineer, he's an MC, he's a director, designer, personality, chef, artist, and he does it all at a high level. Um, I've known him for a long time, y'all, and it's my honor. I want to introduce the workload himself, Polly Rob. Yo, Polly Rob, what up?
Workload, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. That was crazy. That was dope. That's the first time I ever got an intro like that. That's fire.
Hey, man. In a lot of circles, you deserve it. Thanks for jumping on, champion. And it's
No
about
problem.
damn time.
Yeah, yeah.
We've just
It's
chopping
about
it up. We've known each other for a long time, done a lot of work together.
right.
So let's get to it. You have an interesting background. You're
Mm-hmm.
originally from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you know what's crazy? Okay, so this is the crazy part about it. So I was actually physically born in LA. So at Kaiser, Cadillac. You know what I mean? From there, it's like the first time I got a chance to kind of like grow up, my parents, my mom moved to New York. You know what I mean? So my growing up is being in New York. You know what I mean? I still came out here to LA for like, summers and things like that. You know what I mean? But my energy of just growing up was New York, and just all through my life, I've literally been back and forth between New York and LA. You know what I'm saying? Inglewood, where actually, and for me, it was like I grew up being the last kid of the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm the youngest. So for me, it was more so like I got a older brother and an older sister. So it's always, you know, no one listens to the smallest kid. No one listens at all. You know what I mean? So I ended up falling in love with other elements of just life, whether it's music, whether it's drawing, things like that. Like I used to get friends from drawing, pictures and shit. I draw Ninja Turtles, draw Sonic Tog, draw Voltron, shit like that's how I used to get friends. They used to see it like, yo, that's dope. Can you draw me something? You know what I mean? And once drawing got to a point where it was more so less expressive for me, I started getting more into music. You know what I'm saying? Listening to music, dissecting music. You know what I'm saying? That was a joy for me because it allowed me to connect with certain things and certain experiences that I would see, and I would just kind of just be into. You know what I mean? And then
Are you one
also,
of those dudes who can see music? You're talking about artistry and drawing. Like, is that a thing with you?
yeah, I'm very visual. I'm very, very visual. Like I when I produce, I see the music. Some people they see numbers, some people they see colors. Me, I see experiences when I produce. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. I think in my earlier life, it was important for me to get into music because it allowed me to express myself. I actually got a chance to express myself. Especially somebody who no one listening to in the household. Like now, I get a chance to express through music. So I would write poetry. I would start, writing rhymes best way I could. I started off with, like writing the lyrics of the songs that I heard. So listening to like Rockin, listening to Onyx Wu Tang, I would literally like write the lyrics down. Like I used to have we used to have a boom box, with two tapes. You know what I'm saying? When you play on the radio, you used to go ahead and press record and record the song that you like from the radio, and then play it back over and over again, so you can write down the lyrics and learn them. Because when you go into school and you know that song, man, you rapping that in the hallways. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's
I
like
did the
that.
exact
That's
same thing. I used to write down DJ Quick and Second to None and High C and just rap that shit all day. Um,
all day. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of like the prerequisite for actually, writing songs. And then, over the course of time, it's funny. Even before I started getting into actually rapping, like, one of my brother's friends, he actually used to take the tape deck, the double tape deck, and we used to do this thing called like a radio show. We did like a radio show. So he would like literally have one tape and one side recording, and then the other tape would have like he would have like a old school like Spice One or something like that, and then we would literally like the boombox had a microphone, so we would press record, we would be laughing, talking trash, acting like a radio show, and then he would play a record. You know what I mean? And that was like my first instance into like just media per se, like just trying that part out. And I didn't realize like that was important to me until later on when I started getting into more of like podcasting and directing and stuff like that. So after that, and that only went for probably like 2-3 months or so because it was just funny. You know what I mean? We do funny shit in the house, but started to just write my own songs. You know what I mean? And I wasn't good at it at all at the time. You know what I mean? So in this between time, you know, we're going between living with my mom, you living with my dad, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And this is like the first time I actually, came out to, Cali to experience, what that life was like. And, running into my cousins, Papa and DK, like we used to go to Moreno Valley, and this is where I started to learn how to rap because they was teaching me how to rap. I had the musical sense of what I wanted to do. They would actually teach me the mechanicals of rapping. You know what I mean? So I would rap with them. We making songs. Once again, same. He had a karaoke machine with the two tape decks. So put the beat in one. Say put the other tape in the other. Record that. Rap. You take that out. If you want to do the ad libs, put that tape and back into a side A. Put another tape in side B, and then do the ad libs and the doubles. Like it was a real thing. So me learning how to do that and learning how to rap just kind of mind blown. It just opened up everything. So now I want to do it consistently, and this is around 6, 7, 8 years old, and this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to do music. You know what I mean?
you coming up in
Eventually,
two biggest markets. You say you was back and forth from LA to New York. Those are the two biggest markets, for hip hop, I guess, at the time.
and like I'm going from Wu Tang, Onyx, Biggie, Nas, Helter Skelter, Buck. I'm going from that to Ice Cube, Spice One, Too Short, E40, The Relatives. This is like it's mind blowing because I'm listening to so many different styles of music. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of just helped me approach music in a different way. Like I was open to a lot of other things. You know what I mean? Then my best friend, Doughboy, shout out to Doe Networks. He was listening to he was putting me on all of the West Coast stuff, but he was also listening to like at the time, like later on when we get into high school and things like that, No Limit, you know what I'm saying, Cash Money, you know what I mean? So getting put onto the South music, you know what I mean? I'm still heavily in my East Coast bag because that's just who I am, you know what I mean? So over the course of time, just making music, and I started to, learn how to produce because of like not having the producers that would, make beats for us, you know what I'm saying? Or having producers, but they tired one day, or it's they got to do something with their parents, or it's just all type of other excuses.
I
So
was
I just started learning
DL
how to do.
Sagasi. He brought together the Reagan era records like all under one thing because pretty much he feels he says he has to do it all. He's like he started producing, and that's when everybody really came together, and we gonna make this a
Yeah.
real movie.
The main thing was about getting it done. Like, you know, when you're excited about something, you want to get it done, and you're not waiting on nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's what, you know, got me into the mode of, you know, learning on the MPC 2000 XL. You know what I'm saying? Learning on the Triton. You know what I mean? Then started to get into more of like, you know, tools, case, cakewalk sonar, learning how to record. Like all of that stuff came from the lack thereof, not having somebody actually do it for us. You know what I'm saying? So that was the important part. And it kind of just opened my brain. True workload. Like I literally had I literally had a studio. I mean, you know, I had a studio in the house. You know what I'm saying? With the mic hanging from the ceiling, you know what I'm saying? Actually putting the mic through the light, the light fixture. You know what I mean? Have it hanging from the ceiling. I don't know how I got a H mix board in my room. Like, dude, I don't even have no space for that. But I'm using at least 4 channels. You know what I mean? Plugging that up to, you know, 2 to 4 tracks, and or my Dell computer. I learned how to kind of connect it all together and just rock it. You know what I'm saying? And everybody used to come over the house. Everybody. My dad used to be like, "Man, who are these people coming through?" But we recording music. It was like he. It wasn't that he didn't like it. It was just he's a very private person. So all these kids coming into the house, and even grown men coming into the house, because once I started learning how to record pretty good, I'm charging like $25, you know what I'm saying, a song to record. And he's just like, all right, he getting this money, he's staying out of trouble, he's not in the streets, we're gonna let that rock, you know, and it just started from there. It just started spiraling over from there, you know what I
mean? Dope, man. I mean, the 2 centers of the world, back and forth. What's the best thing about both worlds?
About the East and the West?
Yeah.
Sound structure. You know, the East Coast side, like from what I've learned, you know, some of my favorite producers, you know, RZA, Easy Mo B, you know what I'm saying, No ID, just, you know, producers like that, you know, DJ Premier, you know, Pete Rock, things like that. They mastered the craft of taking, you know, samples or taking something that they like, modifying it into something completely new. I mean, it's reinventing an element that you appreciate into something that you can use as moving it forward. That's the part that I love about, you know, like RZA's drums. If you listen to RZA's drums, like it's literally like woo 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 woo. And if you know music, you know, we will rock you. Do. You know what I mean? Like, but that was his drums for probably majority of like 4 or 5 albums. He never changed it. That was the base, the foundation of the music. Everything else changed. So I was hyped off that, and I realized that, you know, after a couple of years. But then you got, you know, Pete Rock, you got No ID, like taking those samples and chopping them down into a quarter or a half and doing something totally different, changing the octave of it, bringing it back, reversing it. You completely dissecting a song, not for the loops, but for the actual riffs and the sounds, and recreating something totally different. That stuff sparked the intensity of music for me. On the West Coast,
here we go. Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, and then on the West Coast, it was more so it's instrumentation, being able to blend different sounds, combining a piano with a string, and telling the story more emotionally than chop sample. The chop samples get you into a different pocket, but when you're actually playing something, you know, it's a whole nother feel. You know what I mean? And I always listen to those music from the perspective of this is the soundtrack to the streets of what you're experiencing in the streets. When you listen to a Kendrick Lamar, when you listen to, you know, a Problem, or, you know, anybody on the West, like Snoop Dogg, Dre, like it sounds like the soundtrack to a LA movie or whatever's going on in California. So that's
Same,
what I
same,
love.
same for the East. Same for the East though. But yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
the East is for the Jeeps, it's for the Lexuses. You know what I'm saying? It's for the pissy hallways. It feel like that life is really chopped. It's chopped in so many different ways. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about the two. And then what I learned to do was incorporate both of that. You know what I'm saying? The bottoms, the heavy bottoms of the East and those chopped samples, but also coming in and bringing a piano player to come play on top of that sample. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things
I'm,
like
I'm,
that.
I'm gonna ask you about that too. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna ask you about that. But give me a couple other topics. Like let's play a game. East or West with Polly Rob. Um,
Ooh,
fashion. East or West?
East for sure. East for sure.
East for sure. Huh?
Even though I wear a lot of flip flops, I wear a lot of flip flops and shit like that, because I like to be comfortable around the world. But East, yeah, I'm a Tim's type of guy. I'm cargo shorts, NY hat. I'm that for sure. You know what I mean?
I gotta get another. I've got the last four Dodgers World Series hats. I need to get this one right now.
Hey,
You see,
listen,
we going. We got it.
listen, I can't hate. I actually I gotta place my bets today for today's game. Like the fact that the Yankees and the Dodgers World Series, come on, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We
Okay,
need that.
we still playing. We still playing East or West. But so who you got? The World Series, East or West?
I got the Dodgers, man. Dodgers need to get one, man. Listen, man, it's so many World Series that they should have won, but the pitching was off. As much as I love the Yankees, because Yankees is my team, but I'm a underdog type of guy. Like I want the Dodgers to get the World Series. It's been too long. You know what I'm saying? It's been too long.
Dodgers ain't so much of an underdog, yo.
So
Okay.
I'll take
East or West? Food.
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 Okay, let me say this. For lunch, East. For dinner, West.
Okay.
No, take it back. Switch it. I just thought about all my pastas and my Italian food. So I switch it, yeah. So West is lunch, like lunch food, finger foods, things like that. The tacos, crazy. Enchilada, stuff like that. Burgers, phenomenal. Do your thing. Although I like hot dogs, that's the East thing. But I would take dinner for the East because the Italian food, you know what I'm saying? So many different cuisines, Jamaican cuisine, just Ethiopian, so many different cuisines on the East is just phenomenal. So I'll take dinner. I'll take dinner with the East and lunch and breakfast on the West.
Okay. We can get that. East or West? The lifestyle.
I'll take West. As much as I love, the ability to have so many different things in one area. It's like you got the bodega, you got the deli, you got a fashion district. They're all confined into one place. But for the West, it's like I'm still exploring parts of the West Coast that I haven't been to yet, or I haven't really spent time there yet, and everything is vastly different. So I would definitely take that. I would take driving over the subway any day. As much as I love the subway, I'll take driving over the subway any day, especially with kids. You know what I mean?
East or West attitude?
East. I would definitely take that from the East because very bold, very to the point. You know what I'm saying? Just going to be abruptly honest. Not saying that the West is not honest, but there's a way to gloss over shit, especially when people just it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? And they got to West people have a nonchalant attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
East, they want to be on it, and we wake up mad early, and we get to it. You know what I'm saying? And I think my workload, like the concept of my workload, is a combination between both. It's being able to work and get things done, but also having the ability to let things come when they need to come organically. You know what I'm saying? That's the important. That's the one thing I learned from being on both coasts is like, yeah, sometimes you can push the issue when it involves you. When it involves you making the effort, then go for it. But if things need to sit and to marinate, and faith needs to come in, luck needs to come in, you need to know how to be patient and let those things, come to you. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen you, in your element. I don't know how many times, and you definitely do that, and always know when and how to have fun with it all.
Definitely.
Still playing East or West. The Pride.
Ooh, it's definitely East. I got a lot of East Coast pride. Yeah. You remember when we was in high school? Like, remember, I'm one of the only ones with Tim's on sitting there arguing about Wu-Tang being the best group of all time, looking at me like I'm crazy. They look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, like, I understand NWA is nice and everything, but listen, Wu-Tang is for the children. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And all of a sudden, 10th grade, 11th grade year, everybody's with all types of Tims. And I'm like, okay, so y'all on what I'm on? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? So I would say I got a lot of East pride for sure.
Tight. East or West, graffiti.
West, yes. I'm not big in the graffiti world, but I know some of the best graffiti that I've seen has been on the West Coast. Definitely. It's very unique, very keen to the city. You know what I'm saying? And then you see what they did to the downtown building?
Yeah.
You see what they did?
Everyone.
Hey man, whole thing, top to bottom. Come on, man. They got that one. Got that one.
Sweet. MCs, East or West?
I gotta take East. I can't help it. My playlist on Apple Music screams East. Like I got a Busta Rhymes playlist. I got a Raekwon playlist. I got a Wu-Tang playlist. Ghostface, Nas, AZ. I can't help it. You know what I mean? So
straight up.
Producer.
West.
No, well, I also got a lot of West Coast playlists as well. You know what I'm saying? I got an E40 joint, K Dot. I got a lot of different playlists, but it depends.
Word. I don't know if you heard producers, East or West.
Okay, so it's a 2-part answer. Let me explain why. 2-part answer. If you're asking East or West producers that are relative to how I produce, it would be East. But if you're talking about producers that I feel like collectively are the best, I would take West. I would definitely take West. Because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like in my opinion, if I took the 5 best West Coast producers and what they do against the 5 best East Coast producers, it would be West all day. Because DJ Quick, come on, man. What he do, his sound design is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And there's people like that. The Battle Cats, you know what I'm saying? It's just so many different ones. Like when they really produce and do sound design, it's like from playing keys to modifying each individual sound, to even producing the actual artist into making hit records. Like that's a real thing. Even those instruments, like those elements are a lot more, I would say, just to the culture of hip hop anything. You know what I'm saying? But not to take nothing away from my East Coast producers, because I am definitely a big element of that. Learn how to incorporate both of those types of styles into what I do.
Word. Yeah, Quick doesn't get enough love, man. I've literally always liked him better than Dre.
Yeah,
As far as producing goes, like he's that guy. He definitely
for
doesn't get love.
he makes some of the most complete, cohesive albums that I've ever heard, and his sound quality never diminished. I'm talking about from the time he started till now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Right.
very, very underrated. Daz is very, very underrated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He made
Mhm.
some legendary records that people, don't realize that he made. You know what I'm saying? Rick Rock. Like, there's so many producers who put in that work that don't get a lot of recognition. I think also there's like a lot of West Coast producers, like we was talking about earlier, they end up doing a lot of those things themselves because of whatever reason, because they're either energized, they want to get stuff done the right way, but they learn so much. Not
Mm.
taking nothing away from West Coast producers, but a lot of times, like for Premier, when he's in his pocket, he's in his pocket. If there's something else that needs to be added, things that need to be learned, I'm pretty sure he'll go get an expert for it. As opposed to like somebody like DJ Quick, he'll learn that shit. He'll take a couple months. Terrace Martin, he'll take a couple months to learn this particular program or keyboard or effect, and he'll apply it to his whole element. You know what I mean? So, Robert Glasper, Thundercat, like these are producers that's like, nah, they going in sonically and doing their thing. So yeah, I take from both sides.
That's word. I was just listening to somebody talk about how DJs always make the best producers.
Yeah.
It's just inherent. What did you think
I
about Alchemist winning producer of the year at those
for sure,
questionable BET awards?
for sure. Listen, nobody can take nothing away from Alchemist. And the year that he's had, first off, as soon as you get a Kendrick record, you're already at the top.
Hmm.
Done. But the work that he's put in this year, project with Rock Marcy, project with Larry June, project with records with Jay Worthy. Like, he is successfully doing his thing and holding his own in his scene. But then also when it's time for major artists like Cole and Kendrick and things like that to get records from him, he lives up to the hype.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he's done his thing this whole year. Like, listen, Meet the Grams, in my opinion, it is the most piercing record from all of the records that Kendrick had.
Yeah.
If you really listen to it, even if it wasn't a diss record, it would be a record that's like, no, it's really piercing through. And that's what I respect Alchemist for. I've got a chance to meet him. Great guy, really humble, and I love the way he comes in and he analyzes the room, analyzes the energy. You know what I'm saying? And magic comes from that eventually. You know what I'm saying? Great guy. Like, I would have gave it to him too. I don't see nobody aside from Metro Boomin, of course, but because he had a good year this year. But when I say quality of the music, it's Alchemist. I give it to Alchemist, sure.
Straight up and down, definitely on my list of my favorite producers.
He's definitely one.
So you being so ingrained in the fabric of both cultures, how do you like approach your creative influences? Like, is there a balance that you need to find as a producer between both spaces?
Not necessarily a balance, because you know, for me and my team, Local Astronauts, we work with a vast amount of artists. You know what I'm saying? So we work with Conway or a West Side Gun, and then we might work with a TF or a Corrupt or something like that. Like, we work with different type of artists. So every artist has a different approach to how we would make their music. You know what I mean? Some artists, we have conversations with them, and based on what they're talking about, based on what headspace that they're in, we might build a record from one perspective. Like, okay, let's go heavy on the keys here. Let's keep the drums a little bit light, but let's go in on some organs and let's do some big movie shit. You know what I'm saying? Or just one artist might be like, yo, this gonna be a sample heavy EP. We're gonna chop up samples. We might, throw an R&B artist on a couple of those hooks. You know what I'm saying? We might come in and throw a violinist to intertwine the songs. There's so many different things, but what I like to do, which is the important part, is I like to get into the headspace of the artist. I want to know what you've been through. I want to know where you're going. I want to know what you're thinking about. I want to know the experiences you went through, because that helps me create records for you. You know what I'm saying? Every project is different. If you actually go, listen to Local Astronauts and our page and our music on Spotify and Apple Music, those collab albums that we do with artists, they're vastly different. Everybody got a different tone, different approach, different theme. It's all different. You know what I mean? We worked on a 2-part series album called Scandalous Summer with this artist named TF. And Summer, it's the name of his company. No, well, everything Scandalous is the name of his company. And Scandalous Summer is pretty much like, yo, that time when the summertime where, a month before that, they let everybody out of jail, you know what I'm saying? It's all hot, you know what I'm saying? Girls got booty shorts on, motherfuckers are scamming, they get money, they robbing, they doing everything like it's a scandalous summer. So we wanted to make a project that includes that, because another way of saying scandalous summer is you gotta try your best to make it out. Like, what you need to do, you gotta handle your business no matter what. No matter if it get bad or good, you still have to handle your business to survive. And the projects that we made, one project sounded more of an East Coast vibe, because we based the theme of that project based on what if it was a scandalous summer on the East Coast. And then the second one was Scandalous Summer 80s Babies. So what if this is a scandalous summer in early 90s, 92, 93 on the West Coast? How would that sound structure sound like? And it's engineered different. Selections, the approach, the skits, everything is different. You know what I mean? And that's what we like to do. We like to really go back to those days where it's like, we creating a full project that you can indulge in. You can come into their world. That's the important part. It's coming into somebody's world,
That's pretty fucking dope, man. For you and Badri to set up and get it together. Shout out to Local Astronauts. It's a beautiful thing to watch, straight up and down. You really have a huge affinity for music, man. You always fucking have, and it's always been apparent. In general too, not just hip hop, and that really lends to an overall vibe that y'all bring, which is dope as hell. Honestly, what do you love about the process the most?
Being able to help artists tell their story. Like, for me, like even now, like for the past, couple of years, probably like 2-3 years, we've been moving more into, scoring movies and, TV and film stuff or whatnot. And that's always been a part of, me, because movies that I relate to help me tell my story. So I want to help sonically tell the stories for these artists. Everybody got their things that they're into, the things that they go through, and I like to musically tell that story. And keep in mind, I used to be an artist first, so musically I'm still telling that type of story through the music. You know what I mean? As where an artist will write something emotional, I'm making a beat that's in an emotional state to help them do their thing. You know what I mean? When you listen to my production, you can hear the pain, you can hear the happiness, you can hear the braggadocious feel, you can hear it in my music. And that's what made me transition from writing and being a rapper to being a producer, because I learned how to express my emotions through sound design and not through words. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel like I bring to the table, and what ultimately Local Astronauts bring to the table.
It's a beautiful thing, man. You've been producing for damn near as long as we've been working together. I've known you, for well before we actually did some work.
Yeah.
How many producer credits do you have?
I think it's probably like over like 140, something like that. Probably more, but I haven't took a actual big count because I probably work with over like 100 artists, but a lot of the times when I work with those artists, we're doing a project, a full project or an EP or at least a couple of records, you know what I mean, to really kind of get it in there. And it usually turns into like, yo, let's put out this EP or let's put out this album, you know what I mean? Because the records that we put together is dope enough, you know what I mean? So, you know, we just working, man. I love it. I love tapping into, new artists, legendary artists. That's the best part about it. Like, there's some people that I literally have listened to my entire life that I got a chance to do records with. You know what I'm saying? Razzcast, Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Even my good friend, Kendrick Lamar, like, good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Just so many different people, man. The Outlaws. You know what I'm saying? Edie and Noble from the Outlaws. Like, just so many different people that I listen to, and now I get a chance to actually work with them. Rock Marcy, you know what I mean? Rock Marcy is crazy. I've been listening to him from the beginning, and get a chance to do a project with him and Jay Worthy. So it's just dope shit, man. Dope.
Y'all just dropped the Planet Asia joint. The Planet Asia joint.
Planet Asia, man, Jesus, like that was an experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to remember, Planet Asia, he don't take no days off, so he coming with some shit. So you gotta be ready. You know what I'm saying? And we was able to knock that down. It took a little while because he tours a lot. You know what I mean? But when we got to it, it came out crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we actually working on part 2, No Retirement Part 2, coming soon. You know what I'm saying? So he loves the concept and the series of that. You know what I'm saying? So we want to keep that going. You know what I mean?
Can't wait to hear it, man. I am Frank 5D, and I hear everything first. Nah, I'm not bullshitting.
No, you heard that first. We ain't tell nobody. We've just been cooking it. You know what I'm saying?
What's the biggest record you've been a part of?
I would say so far as Cali Swag, Teach Me How to Dougie. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like
legend has it you taught Cali Swag they whole swag.
Not they swag as far as fashion or whatnot, but I was very instrumental. I was the music manager and operations manager at 319. So my whole thing was to get all the music stuff done. You know what I mean? So recording every record, you know what I'm saying, helping them with just with the structure of how to, perform it on the mic, and then helping them with their actual performance on stage. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to, learning the breath control, learning how to, they had all the dancing and all that. That's what they do. You know what I mean? But learning how to formulate a show that can be impactful for people to actually enjoy. You know what I mean? Mixing and mastering the records like that. That's so my credits on Teach Me How to Dougie is recording and mixing and mastering and the co-production. You know what I'm saying? So, the person who actually made the beat is Star West. She's phenomenal. She's dope. You know what I'm saying? And then I kind of just ushered in and did everything else, the arranging, you know what I'm saying, the mixing and the mastering and whatnot, and the recording. So, and the record is legendary. You know what I mean? Collectively, we all came together, to make it happen, and it's beautiful. And I can't thank the world enough for embracing that record. You know what I'm saying? And it's still going. Like, it's funny because this is crazy. So I had my first child in 2009, right? May 18th, 2009. And that record was released in 2009. It was when it first got on the radio. It was released before that, like November of 2008, but it eventually got to the radio and started going in 2009.
Yeah,
right?
We worked the hell out of it. I was a part of a lot of them sessions.
Yes, sir. And you co-directed the first video. You know what I'm saying? Remember, you were shooting and everything. Come on, man. We went up. You know what I mean? And look how many views that shit got. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. So it was in 2009. So then my first son is born. When the record went platinum in 2011, my second son was born. You know what I'm saying? So literally, like they my Dougie babies. You know what I'm saying? Like the success of the record is.
I don't want to. You might not even remember, but you invited me to his first birthday. I think I bought him his first birthday. I bought him his first beat machine.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, that's right.
little
Still
toy,
good.
my first beat machine.
And Makai, he produced now. He produced and he write records.
It's only right.
It's only listen. They watch everything.
Sounds strange.
My youngest Zaire, you know what I'm saying? He plays basketball, he plays esports, and he also cooks. You know what I'm saying? He's a cooking machine, you know what I mean? So I love it, man. It's just like, being able to so I was saying that to say this, like, them being born and in the success of Teach Me How to Dougie. I was saying that to say this. Years later, fast forward, I'm in my room, I'm chilling. The boys is in a room on the game and whatnot. They on the computers. So I'm just sitting there relaxing. I hear a big scream, and Makai was like, "Daddy, come here!" And I'm thinking something wrong, so I'm jumping up like I'm about to get busy. Like, what's up? So I walk in the room, and I'm like, "What's up?" And he like, "Look." I look at his computer screen. It's Teach Me How to Dougie has the dance on Fortnite. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, we made that happen. And he like, you didn't tell me? I'm like, oh no, we just had to make it come together. So literally calling their friends, they like, yo, my dad record Teach Me How to Dougie, boom boom, it's on Fortnite. So now they buying it, Dougie in while they playing Fortnite, and it's like, dude, y'all was born when we did this record. Now, fast forward, y'all get to enjoy the fact that it's a dance, and it's something that's dope on Fortnite. Which this is y'all department, this is y'all world. You know what I mean? So,
and they'll grow up. That's gonna be a point of pride,
for
of the
sure.
family. Like,
and that's when they realized, and I told them, I said, look, I'm like, that's what the plaque is for. You know what I mean? So they really understand, like, no, your daddy did some legendary shit along with, with the boys, with Big Y, with Wacko. We all did some legendary shit with you as well. You know what I mean? Like, the shit, I love it, man. I love it.
I gotta shout out you and the late Big Y Tony, for you bringing him up, for putting me on, man, and allowing my work and name to, swing through a few decent circles, back in the day, man. That dude, he was legendary in my hometown.
For sure.
California, and y'all worked hand to hand for a number of years, man. How did that relationship start?
Well, so when me and my good friend Donnie Springs, shout out to Donnie Springs, you know what I'm saying? We was actually we had a group called Polydoni, so we was always working and doing our thing, you know what I'm saying?
God damn, I haven't thought of Polydoni in years.
Man, it's you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole nother thing, just a part of my rap side, you know what I mean? And it's funny because, during those times, we were working with my boy DJ Quest, and we put together ING Times, which was a Inglewood magazine, you know what I'm saying? And that
was when we first started working. Y'all brought me in on ING Times.
Yes, sir. Man, what that would have been if we would have kept going, that's crazy. But so,
I got some man I interviewed Fife Dog with ING Times, the late grade. I interviewed the Sugar Hill Gang. I interviewed Big Daddy Kane. I interviewed the Clips when they were together.
It's real.
Thank you, man. Continue. Thank you.
100%, man. 100%. So in the midst of that, once kind of the ING Times was dying down, I met Big Y from ING Times. We had this on Market Street, and then we doing music and things like that. So after a while, when ING Times was kind of dying down, Y was like, "Yo, I want you to meet somebody." Wacko, this guy I work with, boom, boom. We all had a meeting. It was like, "Yo, we want you to help. We want you and Don to help. Kind of with the recording and things like that, because we see you guys do great work." And it kind of just started from there, and we ended up getting a building right there on Florence. And it just started from there. And it was funny because I heard so many things about why and a little bit about Wacko. Of course they gangsters, they do their shit, but I knew why from just being a friend, a human being, you know what I'm saying? And still, all the way into this passing, I got a chance to for him to be my brother and really like we got some real like friends and real human being shit. So the stories and the things that I would hear about him that never applied to me or how he would do his thing in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about this is where we at and this is what we want to do. And that's what 319. That's when Joe Moses came through. Cali Swag came through, and like that studio, so many different people that are legendary and that are stars came through that building. And then in those times,
319. There was a legacy in that building. Yes.
sure, sure. Like trying to figure out where they were, where they wanted to go. And one thing that Y was good at was giving advice, was helping people on their journey to do what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a big thing for him because he cared about everybody. And if he thought that you were talented at what you do, he's going to find a way to help you in some regard or some right. So we made history. We made a lot of money. And we're able to, just through the Cali Swag, through Wacko, through myself and my boys, and through Watoni's children, what I'm saying, Carrington and Ayana, we're able to carry on his legacy and keep things going. You know what I'm saying? I actually have a book that I'm dropping in like 2 weeks called Scenarios. It's not a novel or anything, but it's actually a self-help guide to your journey in the music industry. So it's pretty much like is like, let's say a scenario where like the scenario is I don't like the beats I'm picking, and then you would pretty much read just from my experience of what headspace you need to be in to pick better beats. You know what I mean? Or it might be a scenario where like I don't know how to start performing, or I bought a feature from an artist and they're not promoting. There's so many different. It's probably like about 50 or 60 scenarios that artists go through, and I'm just trying to help them get in the right headspace to make their proper decision, their own decision. You know what I mean? And that book is dedicated to why, because that's what we used to do. We used to always have conversations and talk about different scenarios that an artist might be in at the moment and what they can do to get themselves out of it. You know what I mean? Like he really cared about the path of where people were going to make things happen.
Yo, man, that's dope as fuck, but we gonna fight because you keep fucking jumping the gun on my questions, man. But yeah, that guy, man, he like showed up. I'm again born and raised in Inglewood. I used to see him around, I'd see him from time to time. But he started showing up to my Little League games.
Right.
I played Sportsman, right there on 90th. When it was 90th, this thing is Penn K Drive now. But he'd be there in the stands buying everybody fries and snacks and shit. Like this is the banging on wax days. And
right.
and I, like one day we talked to him after the game, and he'd always be there cheering and cheering us on and shit. And he was just like, yo, just keep it up. And his main thing was like, yeah, man, we was asking him about banging on wax. His main thing was like, yeah, they don't really fuck with that. Like, we just making music. Like, the lifestyle is the lifestyle. But his whole thing was just stay on the field, man. Stop, don't fuck around with no bullshit. Because what did Freddie Gibbs say? Can't claim no set if you wasn't gangbanging in the Little League.
Right, yeah.
Honestly. And then so I always shouted out why for that. And then, we talked a couple times, after y'all brought me on to 319. And he was just like, yeah, I remember you. And I'm like, damn, like, you actually fucking remember me? Like, yeah, we used to play baseball. Like, I was like, that's straight up and down, man.
People didn't realize he was very influential in the community, especially football leagues, basketball leagues. At one point in time, which he was a teacher. You know what I'm saying? He was like a assistant teacher or substitute teacher, but he would teach kids and like really try to help as many kids as possible. Even the kids that came through the studio, always try to help. Like I remember, my boy uh, brought through Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator came to 319 came through. There was so many different things that he would be trying to help people with. Like we just all owe him ultimate gratitude, and we want to continue to live his name on. And we got some things in the pipeline to just keep his name going. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up and down. And the book sounds, like an excellent tribute. Shout out to that guy, man. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I asked you earlier about, how you like approach the East Coast and West Coast influence.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like you always, just knew how to keep the sound diverse to a degree.
Right.
But it honestly feels like you did that because you had to. Am I correct about that?
Well, for me, in the midst of me producing, like I'm still always learning. So a lot of times it's like when I'm producing certain things, like let's say if I hear a particular artist, and let's say that they're very West Coast with their lyricism. Okay, boom. That doesn't mean I'm going to give them a West Coast style beat. I might change the soundtrack of the music or the better music that you rapping to. Case in point, 50 Cent was very instrumental in like me learning that, because remember when 50 Cent came out on West Coast beats, but he was an East Coast rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit worked because it's like, okay, yeah, I know I'm an East Coast rapper and I'll talk about things from my side of the spectrum. But if I could change my soundtrack to offer another audience an entry into my world, it makes my fan spectrum bigger. So I like doing the same thing. Like, and I encourage certain artists to change your sound structure or your sound design of your beats and your music often. You know what I mean? Because like even with artists like Rick Ross, he has kind of like three types of flavors. He has the trap flavor, then he has the Maybach music flavor, which is all the heavily sounds with the rich shit, and then he has the women records, which feels good, but he talking to the women. He has so many different sound structures that you can play with. Shit for the strip club, shit that you can get rich to. You know what I mean? So Jay-Z is very good at that as well. He's good at switching the soundtrack to the words that he's saying, because them as an artist is already fire. But if you are able to get different beats and bring in more crowds, it makes you even more elite. So that's what I try to do for artists. They may be on some like, oh, I got ratchet shit on my brain. I'm like, okay, we can do some of the ratchet shit, but let me change some of the sounds in that song so it can be a little bit more unique than what you've already been doing with the same West Coast sounds you've been having. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that makes it even more important. It's like, and also with a lot of West Coast artists that I work with, a lot of their stories be vivid and they be true. So it's like, why doesn't this shit sound like a movie? Why does it just sound like a song? I want it to sound like a movie. So no, I'm finna bring in these extra strings. I'm finna get some choir voices in here. I'm finna break it down and put the heavy theater bass in there. It's finna sound like some shit. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
Why not?
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. I really only asked because it sounds like it's always sounded like you've been in the space to do both.
Mm-hmm.
But like, they're almost, they're not mutually exclusive, like when it comes to you, if that makes sense, like to be able to merge the vibe.
Right.
Is it a challenge? Because most can't do it. Like what's different from like the 319 days to the local astronaut era?
Well, great question. First off, I think the one thing that local astronauts, we're not afraid to experiment. You know what I mean? Like I would say like this. 319 was more so of like there's formulas that we can lock in. Like when we did Cali Swag, there was a formula and we locked into that formula. When we was working with Joe Moses, there was a formula. We locked into that formula. But for local astronauts, it's like, okay, there's a particular artist. How many ways can we tell their story? We're not giving you just beats that you like. We're giving you beats that can challenge you at the same time. We want to challenge you. We don't want to just get you the hit record. We want to get you the record that changes the way people view you and see you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I'm a B-side guy. I'm always the one. Like if I like a particular artist, I'll tell that artist my favorite B-side record. I'm not interested in the single. Although
guys always have the cult following,
right?
The A side is the hit record. The B side is the cult following record. Usually, at least through history.
Right. Just like movies like The Goonies and you know what I'm saying, City Boys and stuff like that. Like those things are what define the essence of your career, and I want those records. Yeah, in the midst of it, we're gonna make a hit for sure. But I want to really dig into really who you are and bring out something out of you. And sometimes different production brings that out of somebody. Pharrell is good at that. He's very good at that. Giving you some. Timberland is good at that. Giving you some unique sounds that you ain't even thought about. You're like, oh, what is this?
Just I think Pharrell is the best example, but yeah, there's so many that you can name. But yes, great insight and great fucking breakdown. Man.
I'm pretty sure Pharrell done had this conversation many times. Like, hey, rap on this record. I'm telling you, it's gonna be some shit. Just get off on it. Pretty sure Kanye, same thing. Look, put a verse on this. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Because it's one of them things where, and I tell people all the time, there's a level of you gotta trust this process when you work with us. You gotta trust our process. Sometimes, we might have an artist rap to a particular beat that they like, and go home. When you come back, it's finna sound like something totally different, and you finna love it. But just know, we got your best interests at heart, and we have the best idea of what you're trying to do at heart already. You just gotta let us do what we do, because we see other things that you don't see, even though it's your story. You know what I mean?
think that resonates throughout all creative processes too. It's like you never know what's gonna catch on. You never know what's gonna stick. You never know what the audience is gonna latch on to. So you have to trust that. You have to be engaged. Like honestly, I do believe that. You compare what Local Astronauts does to fine wine. What kind of wine are we talking, man?
What we talking? We're not doing no Stella Rosa. Stella Rosa everywhere. We're not doing that. Now we got to do something. We want to be 30, 40, 50 years aged. You want to be able to come back and these fans tell you, hey, man, this particular record touched my soul. It's different over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very admirable and a great approach, but I gotta say, it sounds like old head talk. And don't get me wrong, I'm an old head. I appreciate it. Definitely. I just got a chance to speak to Kingdom Come. Familiar with him? Dope Argentinian MC out of Miami. Shout out Kingdom Come. He's about knee deep in his Malbec series, which is the fine wine of his home country, of his birthplace. And I dig it, of course, as being an old head myself. But I do know you to a degree. Why are you shitting on the new school like that?
No. I'm not shitting on the new school at all. What I'm saying is, when I'm working on particular records, majority of the sessions of how we approach things is in that context. When you come to Local Astronauts, you come to get the fine wine. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you go to McDonald's, to get the Big Mac. There's nothing wrong with that. Go get that. But when you come to Local Astronauts, this is what you're coming to get. But don't get me wrong. I work with a bunch of new artists, and a lot of the flavors and the styles that they be on, remember, they teaching me too. So I'm taking that and I'm making those type of beats in those contexts, because maybe that's what we own, but maybe I could tweak it a little bit and have a unique sound that'll be subjective to just them. You know what I'm saying? I love that. I love working with all different types of artists. I don't work with trap artists, drill artists, westerns. I done did it all. But the important thing is to keep learning about yourself. That's the key. It doesn't matter listen, I done did some records, hand to God. 4 sounds, 3 or 4 sounds. That's it. And it's fire because of what the artist did. The artist is an instrument too. Like, people may call it simple, but hey, if it designates, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. So I love all different types of elements. It's just that we have a process. Once again, it starts from learning about the artist and learning what can happen for them. Because even like, for instance, like even Planet Asia. At one point in time, Planet Asia was like, hey man, why you didn't give me one of these? And it was a bop. I don't know what you mean. You like, why didn't give me one of these? Don't give me the shit that you think I might like. Give me some other shit. He was right. And that's what we did. And we got a record like that that's fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I love. I love to interchange all of the elements. Like, even one of our things that we got coming, we got coming called Duos. We got a compilation project called Duos. It's really like an EP compilation, but we're going to literally put together some records with artists that you may not even think would ever work together. But we pulling that off. You know what I'm saying? From different spectrums of the music. And you'll never think that'll happen, but it's going to happen. So we're into that. So I'm definitely, I won't shit on the new generation because remember, the new generation gave me my biggest record ever.
You better not.
Never shit on that.
You know I was fucking with you, man. You know I was pulling your chain.
But I'm glad you said that because it allows me to explain exactly my approach and how our approach is. So I'm glad you said that for sure.
I love the conversation, man. I got to try and bring it out of you somewhat.
Yes, sir.
You've worked with some of the heaviest hitters. Of course, you named a bunch of them a while ago, and there's there's a bunch more. Who has had the most interesting ethic or work style?
I think it was Planet Asia and Noah James. Noah James, his process on working on records, like one thing, like he had Noah James. If you look him up, Noah James is fire. We did a project called King Kaiju, right? So when we first started working with him, there's a process that he approached how he music, which is dope. He allowed us to come in and reconstruct a lot of the way how he sees certain records and like actually build out something that was cohesive all the way through. And then even in his approach of how he rhymes, like helping them understand how they approach emotion in lyricism without the words. You know what I'm saying? He allowed us to do that. And the project was phenomenal because we was really going in there. We was learning about his love for anime, his love for wrestling, his love for, his grandmother, things like that. And we incorporated that into actual songs that did some crazy shit. And now like we're pitching records to some movies and TV and film because those records are that big in terms of the spectrum and the design of it. So I would definitely say that. And then with Planet Asia, like Planet Asia is one of those, like, remember, he has a lot of projects. So you have to be able to set yourself aside from all the projects that he got, or you just get drowned out. So for us, we allowed ourselves to tune into his world, but also give him a theme that's relative to not just this project, but for other stuff that he puts out. Like the No Retirement, he did a whole No Retirement tour. You know what I'm saying? So all of these elements, and then even if you listen to that project, a lot of those records are, they're smooth. They have a nice ride bounce. We was like, yo, when the last time you had a record from Planet Asia that you could just ride to? It's just a good groove. It's still dope lyricism, but it's a good groove. So when you listen to No Retirement with Local Astronauts of Planet Asia, you'll get that feeling. That's what we wanted to give to him. So yeah, I would say them two. I would say them two.
Word up. Shout out Noah James and Planet Asia, man. You are the workload. Did
What?
either of those experiences influence your style at all?
Um, any who artists?
Any of those two, or yeah, just I guess anyone in
Oh,
general.
yeah. No, definitely. Uh, they influenced just the way that uh I take in the conversations and the information from people. You know what I mean? Like those things are, to be honest, those are really like sacred to me. Like you know what I mean? The conversations that we have prior to us making music, very big for me. We can't just come in here and be like, all right, pull up some beats and see what I like. Nah, not doing that. I want to know how your day was. I want to know what you into, what you've been working on. You know what I'm saying? We might talk some shit, and then those moments is what creates the energy for what we're gonna do and the ideas sometimes for how we work. You know what I'm saying? So I learned that over the course of working with some great artists. You know what I mean?
Word up. Um, you are also the counselor, Counselor Polly Rob. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know how many names I've known you as. Robert Durkee, Chef Polly Rob, Polly Robinson.
yeah.
Um,
You know,
but
you gotta have multiple names. You know what I mean? I'm from the Wu-Tang era. You gotta have multiple aliases. You know what I'm saying?
but you've also always been the counselor, Polly Rob.
Mhm.
What main advice would you give to an indie artist?
Um, Explore yourself. You know what I mean? Like, know how far you can stretch. Try it all. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to put out everything, but try it all. You know, if you're an artist and you rapping, you know what I'm saying, try songwriting too. You know what I'm saying? Try elements of, producing your music or somebody else's music. Like learn, research. Like that's the thing. Like that's what I mean by explore yourself. You need to try your best to be vast at so many different elements. Because in the industry, the one thing that you're gonna have to have is value. You know what I mean? And most rappers, they're the last ones to have value because they don't know how to do anything else. You know what I mean? So you have to learn how to research, how to have other elements of what you do. Like those things are super, super important. You know what I mean? I would say that that's the main thing is explore yourself because then you know your lengths, you know where you can go, you know how you can apply yourself to something, and you know how to create your value from that. You know what I mean?
Good advice, always.
Yeah.
I saw something interesting a while ago. It was the founder of Patreon,
Mhm.
Jack somebody. He's talking about how algorithms killed the follower,
Mhm.
basically. And it's like, he goes into how, now is the first time when people who actually want to and chose to follow you will not see what you produce for them.
Right.
Will not see it, or wanting to see the content if you're not keeping up with the trends of how algorithms rank content
Right. Right.
nowadays, like which in turn changes what artists think they need to make, you
Right.
know, and like it changes their creative output. Like in the back of their mind, they're like, "What is the algorithm going to favor? How am I going to blow up?" Instead of making art, instead of making what they think their fans want, or at least making shit from the heart.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, the one thing I would say is um, algorithms are necessary for the technology side of doing business on any level. So, back in the days, there is the grassroots promotion, and then there was the radio promotion, right? The radio promotion was, hey, we're going to sonically bleed this music into your head because the advertisements, they want to have the popular music around when they advertise their stuff.
It lives on. It's not as big as it was, but it lives on. But
Right.
yeah,
No, right. But that was one part of it. The grassroots was I got to stick it to the fans and the customers immediately. That's the one thing that will never change. If you develop your grassroots element, the algorithm, it's not going to hurt you as much. The problem is people are just relying on just the algorithm. everything is just online. Everything is just let me pay some ads to get awareness. When you get the awareness, how do you keep them? How do you like even like and I learned a lot more of that from building my YouTube page and taking a true interest in my YouTube page, is because the YouTube algorithm is suggesting my channel at some point in time, because at one point in time I was averaging 30 to 40 subscribers like a day. They was fucking with me, and they still fucking with me. I love all my YouTube subscribers. I love them. But at the same time, I had to do my due diligence. When they comment to me in the comments, I'm commenting back.
Gotcha.
Hey, yo, thanks for watching. What do you think about this? And we having full-blown conversations on the comments. You know why? It's because I understand grassroots, and it's important to me. I want to talk to y'all.
Right.
When I'm on live and I'm making beats, I'm talking to the people. So you gotta have an element of grassroots no matter what. So when the algorithm does his thing and it suggests you or suggests something, then that means that you still gotta do your level of research on top of that. That'll never change. I'm always research-based, grassroots-based, even if the medium changes, as in, no, we don't do poster boards no more. No, we don't do, we barely do stickers, things like that. But if you're online, your grassroots element is actually talking to the people, actually DMing people back. DM them back. It ain't gotta be, get off my line, you weirdo. Like, no, like, hey, I appreciate you tuning into my music. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? What's your favorite record from this album? Or I ain't hear the album yet. Oh, you heard it yet? Well, whenever you get a chance, take a listen to it. Let me know what you feel about it. Honest opinion, I'm with it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. If you want to be a star, you want to be popular, or you want your products to sell, you have to be honest, and you got to be direct with people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to do that when I drop this book. I got to be direct with people. No, this is for artists. Even if you're not an artist, let me know what artists you rock with or you like. Send this to them. Let me know how you feel. Let's have a back and forth. That stuff is important. So algorithms and grassroots go hand in hand.
Straight up and down, man. And we definitely tune into your channel here at the Rap Scene. In one of your recent videos, you made a big point about artists, about artist music doing them justice on a success level.
Right.
Who does a better job of branching themselves out and getting more done outside of the music? Is it signees or indies?
I think indies, because a lot of the artists that's on the labels, remember, they have a team. So a lot of times the team, even probably before they sign you, they're doing their research on how to properly market you from what they feel is necessary. The problem with that is once they feel like your hoopla is done, you're done. They're no longer having meetings to rejuvenate your marketing tactics and things like that. They had a good run and that's it. I'm saying that to say, when indies get on their marketing and they branding and whatnot, and they're putting out products, things like that. For instance, Westside Gun and Griselda, when they first started doing music, they started getting the buzz. Their merch is dropping. Once they merch is dropping, then the art is dropping. Once the art is dropping, then the partnerships is dropping. Now, in the midst of all of that, they had a drop off in music where it wasn't as popular on charts and things like that. But that didn't stop all of the other elements. Because the indies have the power to, no matter what the stats say and what the algorithm says, they're direct to the consumer. When he had 1,000 people checking for him, he sent 1,000 people to GriseldaRecords.com. Then when he got 3,000 people, he sent them directly there again. So now he got a following of over 100,000 people constantly going to this same medium, this same IP. That's what you want. And the one thing that differentiates that is labels do it on a massive magnitude, but once again, when it's over, it's over. You can almost guarantee that after 2 or 3 or 4 years, you're in the possibility of the labels jumping off your marketing campaign. When you are indie, it never stops unless you feel like stopping. So all you need is one time to have some type of popular instance, and you can ride that whole thing out. You know what I'm saying? So I always say to indie, if you're bold enough to go the indie way, it's going to work out for you in the long run.
Hmm. You know, I recently got to talk to YNX 716. He's from Buffalo. And he basically echoed the same shit. You know,
Yeah.
he's really big on creating his own merch and you know,
Yeah.
doing things on the grassroots level. That's what's up, man. When is the book coming out?
So I told all my subscribers that when I get 800 subscribers, the book is dropping. So I'm at 856. So right now the actual ebook is available right now, but I wanted to wait until the paperback gets confirmed so they can buy either the ebook or the paperback. So it's technically out, but I don't want to officially announce that it's out. You know what I'm saying? Until I get the paperback confirmed. So when they buy the book on Kindle, they can buy the paperback or the ebook. You know what I mean? So
I'd love to have it, man. I'd love to put it right here next to my other books, yo. Let's get your thoughts on a few things going on. We want to wrap up. Let's get your thoughts on some of the things going on in the hip hop zeitgeist, you know, that we're talking about in one way or another. Diddy, is he done?
I just pray for him. I pray for him. You know, for me, my question is, we still listen to the music?
I do.
I got his records on my playlist, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like
honestly, yeah, I felt it was weird when people stopped playing R. Kelly's music. I felt it weird when people stopped playing Chris Brown. No, I'm gonna keep.
I got an R. Kelly playlist. Yeah, I got an R. Kelly playlist. I'm sorry, it's part of my life. It's what it is. You know, my thing is when it comes to things like that, sex trafficking, criminal antics, I try my best to stay away from it because, you know, my opinion doesn't come from truly what I think. My opinion comes from the protection of my children. You know what I'm saying? So anything that feels like it's hurting children, I'm already against it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it probably might not be a fair assessment, so I just choose to not speak from that perspective. Like even on my YouTube page, I only have one video where I talk about Diddy, and I literally say this is my only video that I'm talking about. I'm talking about something totally different.
Just when you thought you were getting out, Rob, we dragging you back in. People are comparing his situation to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, they want that dude to tell from his grave. Should Diddy tell?
Right. I mean, when the facts and everything all comes out, you know, it might be a comparison for sure. You know, for me, it's like I just want the people from the future to actually follow the case, follow what's going on, because these things happen. These things happen. Like I'm not accusing nobody of nothing, but what I am saying is in this industry, these things happen. People get taken advantage of. People throw the ability or the possibility of success in your face, and people try to do certain things to get you to submit or do whatever they want you to do. Got to be mindful of that, and I want the awareness of that to be there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even for me, like when I'm in the studio with certain people, you know, like just case in point, my number one rule: when a woman artist comes to my studio, I already have a woman that's here at my studio already to make sure that she feels comfortable and we can do business, and I have somebody that actually protects me. Because I don't want to hear all that, oh, he did this to me. No, we're not doing none of that.
A
My
lot of people are subscribing to that same exact thing. A lot of people follow
it's
that.
real.
Mhm.
When you have kids come to the studio to work on their music, hey, we need the parental guardian to be in the session. We're not playing no
Oh,
games.
definitely, yes.
Real. Like, but these are the things that when you ran a professional studio as long as I have, you learn these things. Like, you want to make sure that the person who's coming in to display their creativity is ultimately comfortable, and at the same time you want to legally protect yourself and have things in place to know that this is a safe space and nothing here is going on ill-advised. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah, very political. I've never known you as Senator Rob, but we dragging you back. Do you think Gene Deal is lying, like, or is he telling the truth? Did he put the hit
there,
on Pop?
there's a lot of truth to Deal for sure. Y'all, everybody know. Everybody know there's a lot of truth to Gene Deal. And like I tell people all the time, like he'll probably get dates wrong, he'll probably get names wrong. Things might be misconstrued, but for the most part, a lot of that stuff he not lying. And you can just tell when he talk. You can tell when he talk about it. You know what I mean? And up to this point, almost everything that he said is in the court documents.
Yeah.
So now Jaguar, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some truth to her origin of why she's speaking about these things, but it's hard to decode that. I'm not good at decoding that. I'm not
Well,
good at
she speaks in a lot of codes. Also, she
a lot of
doesn't. She
yeah,
beats around every bush she can.
yeah. I'm not ready for that.
What were your thoughts on the Young Dolph verdict?
Oh, with the guy getting sentenced, with Young Dolph, how many years did he get sentenced for?
I don't know. Those numbers keep going over my
No,
head.
if anybody that did it, man, they need to be put in jail for sure.
Hmm.
Come on, man, like that's justice. Hopefully, that Young Dolph's family is okay with the justice that was sought after and confirmed. You know what I'm saying? But Young Dolph was, man, he was a genuine dude. I mean, the things that I heard even prior to his death of the things that he did for his community and his family and his people. It's like, man, who want to kill somebody that's showing love?
Hmm.
The number one reason why people do bad shit is because somebody not showing love. So you want to take what they got. He's showing love.
But man, there's one of those dudes. Like, it's not like I got people out here wanting to kill me, or I got any ops at all. But I walk around with a good smile on my face.
Yeah, right.
Now I go into these events that I do, and when I'm out working, and people be looking at me like, "Why the fuck he smiling?" Like, then I be trying to notice them. Like, everybody be walking around mean mugging every fucking
Yeah,
body, ice grilling and shit, and like it be that good energy, man. That's one of the reasons why they be wanting to take the shit down, because they can't attain that shit. It's the yin and the opposite and the negative. The light and the dark always battling each other, man.
yeah, man. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It's just
They talking about Gotti. Is CMG going down next for that?
they trying to get his brother right now too. I don't know.
Right?
Like I said, I lightly hear about those stories, but once again, I'll be on something else. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true. I mean, they just got Lil Durk today.
Yeah, I mean, after 5 of his gang members, he looks really bad.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like I said, man, my message is to hip hop. Keep it hip hop, man. Keep it hip hop.
Please.
Oh, make records, get money. Come on, man. What we doing? What we
That's
doing?
what we be trying to entertain. Switching gears from that shit. I used to do this back in the day, you know, and you may be the perfect person to bring it back with, contrasting the East versus the West question that we were talking about a while ago. If LA had 5 boroughs like New York, what would they be?
Oh, that's fire. That's fire. Oh, okay. I gotta break that. Okay. So LA, Los Angeles, Compton, Watts, Long Beach and Inglewood. That's all. That's it. That's it right there. That's it. What we doing? What we doing? That's it.
I think when I wrote the article, I had four of those on the list.
That's it. What,
Mhm.
what was your fifth one?
Venice. I put the Venice in the
Uh,
in the in the
I,
area in there.
I agree in terms of like geographically. I agree, but when it comes to like the hip hop shit, like there's every different type of person
I
from
got you.
Northwest. You're right. You're right though. You're right though. I would put Venice there. I mean, I'm
You're
putting
also correct. If we're talking hip hop, what are we talking about with Venice?
I'm putting Inglewood there because I'm biased. I'm sorry. I got to. I have to.
Hey, you and me both, good sir.
Yeah,
Good shit, and I'm gonna need to re up on that idea. I need
yeah.
to rekindle that.
You need to definitely ask that. Matter of fact, you need to ask Glasses Malone that. You need to ask. You had to ask him that for sure.
Mm. You know, we've been reaching out to Glasses for a while. You know, it's a couple talks, but we definitely love to have him on here. Shout out G Malone.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I want to call him right now, just asking that question right here on air.
hey
Right?
man, you know, let's jump on a stream and
Come on, stream
and
go. Yeah,
bang that out.
for sure.
Good shit. I've been on this interview series for a while, and I ask this all the time. So I ask you now, Polly Rob, where would hip hop have started if it didn't start in New York?
Ooh. I would like to think that it either would have started in either Brooklyn or Compton, either of those places,
Well,
because
I'm only taking Compton because Brooklyn is New York, man. Come on.
yeah, right. Yeah, no, yeah. I would say Compton because at the same time, you know, in terms of the element of parties, DJing, music, things like that, they were brewing at the same time. We kind of only credit we credit New York for it because of, you know, how long it was brewing and then how public it got before Compton. So I would say Compton next. And I mean, to be honest, you know, if you look at the assortment of powerful, great artists from, you know, from New York and from like, well, I mean, not even just New York, but from Queens and Compton, it's the ones.
I'm
It's
part of the Queens MCs. They're my favorite. I think
what I'm saying.
at least two of them are in my
I
top
mean,
five.
probably in a top 20, it's probably about 7 or 8 collectively from Compton and Queens.
Hmm.
In top 20 of MCs of all time. So I always attest, like, in my opinion, I feel like hip hop has two meccas. You know what I'm saying? They got the original mecca, and then they got Compton is the mecca on the West Coast. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. That's a you know standard assessment.
Dude.
It's honestly the only the second time I've gotten Compton from
Mhm.
asking this question, but it's always been one of those where I thought you know it would have
For
started.
sure. For sure. Like, man, if you run down the list of legendary people that originated in Compton, come on, man. And it's still going. That's the key. It's still going at a
Yes.
very high level. At a very high level. So, oh yeah, I'm definitely Compton for sure.
Straight up and down, man. You know, I always get LA as the, you know, the major answer, but I always say somewhere probably ancillary to New York. You know, if today was back in the day, would probably be like upstate New York, you
Yeah.
know. But, you know, I think like a Philly or a Jersey
Yeah.
or something like that is where it might have started. But you know, reaching back to the boroughs of LA conversation, I'd say the same. You know, Compton more specifically,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, in the same vein as like hip hop started in the Bronx or Queens or
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of hip hop is that it was all brewing in different parts of the world. Where it started is where it started, but it was literally brewing in all parts of the world, which is a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Love it, man. Love it.
Straight up and down, man. Love the conversation too, and want to thank you again for jumping on, yo. Let's try and
Anytime.
round it out. What's coming up next for Poly Rob? Tell the people what you want
Um,
to check
so
out.
we're local astronauts. We have a slew of EPs. You know what I'm saying? We working with Drebo, the homie Drebo. We working with Osby Chill. Got a project with him. Another joint with Planet Asia. We up another one with TF. We got a couple of compilations from movies that's coming out. I got the book, of course, scenarios that's dropping. We actually have a movie we finished scoring and doing the music supervisor for. It's called Him. It'll be coming out pretty soon. And my YouTube, man, I just keep going on my YouTube. I got a lot of new content. I actually got some new dope things that I'm gonna start doing when I hit 1,000. You know what I mean? And that's actually what I'm starting next week. Is I'm gonna start doing this thing called what did I call it? Sound kit cookup. You know what I mean? So I'm actually taking sound kits that from like different places, Native Instruments, Arturia, Arcade, and like sound kits that other people make, and I want to actually make beats with those sound kits and just give you my opinion on how I feel like they are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start that up. It's gonna be a live stream. Everybody can watch it. You can tune in. You know what I'm saying? You can support, donate. And it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be fire.
That's what I'm talking about, man. And we want to keep seeing it. Definitely much more success, much more workload, much more, things on your shoulders. Don't slow down. You get no rest, sir. You are the fucking workload.
Right.
Honestly.
Listen, I started to appreciate getting rest a lot more. So I'm definitely on that. I'm on my health tip as well. I'm actually headed to the gym right after this. So I'm last but not least learning the concept of keeping yourself healthy while you're doing this hip hop shit, because wealth, health is money, and I got some rude awakenings years ago from that. So I learned my lesson, and I'm getting to it, man. So.
Hey man, recalling back to that conversation about why that was one of the last things that he was really pushing, before his demise and
Sure.
before his passing. Again, rest in peace. Always important, yo.
People.
Those were the closing remarks that I were going to ask you about, counselor. Thank you very much for once again jumping everything that I'm going to throw at you.
For sure.
That's what it is, people. Make sure you follow Poly Rob, or we gonna go to your job and tell your manager you be doing weird shit to his car on your lunch break, yo. Follow me, Frank 5D, on any app you can tap. That's what we got, y'all. Positive energy activates constant elevation.
Peace. Let's go.